He was a striking and imposing son of one of the best sires in decades. Hitting the track in 2006, he quickly set the racing world abuzz with his talent and awe-inspiring wins with ease. He took the torch from an ill-fated foe in the spring and turned what was a heartbreaking spring for so many into a summer and fall filled with the excitement of how great he just possibly could be. As a sire, few can top his accolades in producing both top-level stakes winners and top broodmares. Sadly, he just recently lost his battle with the dreaded equine hoof disease Laminitis. ThoroFan takes a look back at the remarkable life and career of Bernardini. Born in March of 2003, he was a homebred of the powerful Darley stud, owned and operated by Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. He was sired by the great AP Indy and was out of Cara Raffaella, herself a top stakes winner at 2 and stakes placed at 3. Trained by Tom Albertrani, it would take a little time before people knew Bernardini's name. Albertrani felt he had the best horse of that crop in his barn, and he was not afraid to let on about it to one-track writer. Another great of the turf, Steve Haskin, who I owe a debt of gratitude to for providing a good amount of the background information in this piece on, thanks to his great article about Bernardini at Secretariat.com, tells the story of how Albertrani told him in the week leading up to the 2005 Breeders' Cup at Belmont Park he actually had the best horse of that generation, even though Bernardini had yet to even start a race. It would take another 6 months before his horse could back up his trainer's confident talk. In the spring of 2006, another horse whose name started with a letter B had taken the hearts of racing fans across the country. His name was Barbaro, and after a smashing win in the Kentucky Derby, everyone could feel that he may finally be the one to end the long Triple Crown drought. Meanwhile, after finishing 4th in his first start, then being off again for 2 months because of a lung infection, Bernardini finally started to show that brilliance Albertrani had seen in him all along, with an impressive win in a 1-mile maiden race, and then another when stepping right up into stakes company in the Wither Stakes at Aqueduct.
Coming down to the final furlong now. Javier Castellano lost the whip on Bernardini, but he's not going to need it. They've got a 4-length lead as Doc Cheney comes up to be second on the outside. Hand-ridden, not willingly, through the final furlong is Bernardini to a 3-length lead.
Setting their sights on the middle jewel of the Triple Crown, some were starting to pay attention to the imposing 16-hands-tall bay son of AP Indy, but still felt it would take something otherworldly to beat Barbaro in the Preakness. Sadly, it was the well-known hind leg fracture, and not another horse, that would end Barbaro's quest for a Triple Crown in the first run through the stretch at Pimlico. Some might say, though, that the spirit of greatness was passed from one to another in that stretch, with Bernardini making an electrifying move on the turn and powering home past all rivals and the stricken and now being tended to Barbaro to win the Preakness impressively.
Bernardini is rallying, and he is rallying boldly, and Brother Derek is struggling mightily now, back to 4th, Diabolical 5th toward the inside, and now the field turns for home. Bernardini rolls up to Sweet Northern Saint. Like now has capitulated, and it is Bernardini in front. Sweet Northern Saint cannot stay with Bernardini. Bernardini strides away from the field at the 8th pole, in front by 4. Sweet Northern Saint, no real response for him. Brother Derek and Hemingway's Key. It is going to be Bernardini to win this Preakness. A bittersweet Preakness it was. A 6-length win over Sweet Northern Saint, followed by Hemingway's Key and Brother Derek as they all...
Following his Preakness triumph, Bernardini's connections decided to bypass the final leg of the Triple Crown and instead point for the summer and fall races. It would be a mountain of a task to overtake Barbaro in year-end honors, but his trainer really felt if he could win the Jim Dandy, Travers, and a few races versus older horses in the fall, he should at least be considered in the conversation.
The stretch.
Well,
With a
enter into the
3-length lead as
conversation
field
he
turns
did,
for home.
and in a
Minister's
big
bid,
way.
Dr. Pleasure on the
First
outside.
came the Jim Dandy,
Henry's
where
key
he
is
made
coming
what
up
was
the
to be a
rail.
tough task
But
against some
Javier
top
Castellanos
3-year-olds,
like a statue
all of
in
whom
the
he was
stirrups.
giving quite a bit of
Upward
weight to,
Bernardini,
look like a
and they
paid
glide
workout
past the
in the
eighth
slop
pole
at
with a
Saratoga.
5-length lead. Effortless performance by Bernardini. Look at this. He didn't break a sweat, and it's 90 degrees. Bernardini runs huge with that lead.
Next, it was the Midsummer's Derby, the Travers, and again, Bernardini showed he was just in another league compared to his rivals.
Just to his inside, it's Dr. Pleasure. And they're coming to the top of the stretch. And Bernardini slips loose now from Bluegrass Cat. Bluegrass Cat took a run at him, and he's going to take another run at him as they turn for home. And the stage is set in the Travers. Bernardini has turned back Bluegrass Cat. At the 8th pole, Bernardini is pouring it on, and he's pulling away. Bluegrass Cat has been left in his wake. And on the outside, Dr. Pleasure, he's an old salt. Bernardini, brilliant once again, and he bounds home to an effortless victory in the late stages here.
It was then on to Belmont Park and his first test against older horses in the prestigious Jockey Club Gold Cup. He aced this test as well, pulling away to another win with an ease that was almost impossible to believe.
Coming down to the final furlong, just a hand ride for him today again, and Wandering Boy, and they're coming down to the finish, and once again, with nonchalant brilliance, Bernardini has won.
He earned a 117 Beyer speed figure for that Gold Cup win, the 4th Beyer over 110 he had earned starting back with his Preakness victory. The racing world had not forgotten about Barbaro, but they also now started to believe that what his trainer had been saying along might just be right. His string of dominating victories had not only won over the hearts of so many in the country, they also placed him straight in the middle of the conversation for year-end honors. One more race awaited now, and it was the Breeders' Cup Classic under the twin spires of Churchill Downs. It was a race that many saw as boiling down to 2 horses, Bernardini and the horse that became a star on the handicap circuit after starting his career in Uruguay, Invasor. He may have lost the Classic, but he lost nothing in the eyes of his fans or the racing media, who named him Champion 3-year-old Colt of 2006. Racing fans couldn't wait to see what he could possibly do on the racetrack as a 4-year-old follow-up. Unfortunately, they never would get the chance, as Darley decided to retire their superstar after one racing season to help bolster their stallion roster. While we as fans never got to see what he could have become, it was evident that he had no problem being a top stallion. Some of his top offspring included Stay Thirsty, Cavorting, Alpha, Rachel's Valentina, and Takaful. What he will be able to be remembered for even more, though, are the amazing list of broodmares he sired, who then went on to produce top horses such as Maxfield, Catholic Boy, Serengeti Empress, Dunbar Road, and Colonel Liam, just to name a few. He was also shuttled to Australia for 8 of their breeding seasons and produced Group 1 winners Boban and Rude Awakening, among others. His name clearly secured in the history books now, the future looked even brighter for this star of the Darley Stallion Band. That was until the shocking announcement on July 29th that he had been euthanized because of the complications from the hoof disease Laminitis. Ironically, Laminitis and its complications are also what led to the death of Barbaro after successful surgery to fix his shattered hind leg. You couldn't miss his impressive stature out on the racetrack. You couldn't help but feel that excitement only a truly amazing horse can inspire whenever he just demolished his competition with ease time and time again. And you couldn't do anything but marvel at the mark he has left on the breed via his progeny. That is what makes the news of his passing so much harder to take. They don't come around often, so we must cherish them while they are with us. Time will only tell if we ever get to see another like the beautiful, awe-inspiring, and truly great Bernardini.